Managing the data model directly through the UI is one of the more impressive and useful features from Izenda's 7 Series product. It allows unprecedented control over the data sources that are going to be used for reporting purposes throughout the platform. This is where a system or tenant level administrator can make alterations and customizations to the data objects within reporting databases to shape the data to fit specific business rules and make it easier for end users to navigate the system. This includes everything from aliasing tables, views, and stored procedure names, to making data source categories, or even determining which columns are visible to them. In order to start making customizations to the data model, the environment must first have reporting data sources loaded into the system. This method is covered in the initial setup video as well in case you need a refresher on how to accomplish this. But once these reporting data sources are in place, the user can then navigate to the Data Model tab to begin making alterations to the data model. As seen here, the data model is broken out into various tables, views, stored procedures, user-defined functions, and relationships built on primary and foreign key relationships. Starting with the Tables tab within the Data Model Management area, the administrator can begin building groups in which to lump data sources together. For instance, if we wanted to put everything related to sales within the same group, we would merely need to type into the category area, Sales, and this would automatically construct a directory in which these data sources will live during report creation. Then, still using the Tables tab as an example, if an individual data source has a name which reflects more of a development naming convention, it may be more beneficial to rename these tables to something more appropriate and legible for basic business end users to interact with. To do this, simply use the Database Source Alias entry field to type the new name for the selected table. In this case, we will rename the DBO day_of_week table to just day of week table. Once the Save button is pressed, the changes will be locked in and immediately accessible by any user within the system. To view an individual data object structure, the user can click on the database source name itself, and the lower panel will be populated with the columns contained within the data source. This includes the column name, its data type, a visible and filterable checkbox, and a column alias entry box. This area gives administrators the capability to choose whether or not a field is visible to those creating reports or usable for filtering on reports and dashboards. Also, within this area, an administrator can construct additional fields to be used for reporting directly from the UI. This can be done through the Add Calculated Field functionality at the top of this panel. Clicking on that button will open a Calculated Field Expression Builder tool. This allows for users to develop individual fields through the database-friendly functions and operators that work throughout any supported relational database. The field requires a name, and then in the expression area, the user can click on the light bulb in order to open up a dialog box with field names and functions and operators. This is where, through pointing and clicking, a user can basically construct a custom field that will be understood with the common syntax throughout any system. For a quick example, we will make a total price field using this tool. In order to do this, we will name the field total price, and then, using the light bulb, select our quantity field, a multiplication operator, and then our unit price field. We will then assign the money data type and then select the preview option to ensure our function worked. The Views and Store Procedures tabs share a majority of the same data management capabilities covered in the discussion of the Tables tab. Stored procedures, however, have the capability of changing from being dynamic. Doing this will remove the current schema surrounding the stored procedure, but allow for further customization to the stored procedure itself straight from the UI. By allowing the stored procedure to remain dynamic, the schema of the stored procedure will be determined at report design time and by user-supplied input values. Otherwise, the stored procedure will not be used. Filter values can also be manually adjusted from this area based on either key value lookups or defined explicitly through user-defined filter values. User-defined functions also have their own area within the data model setup area. This is where an administrator can see what input parameters a given user-defined function require and allow for a decision to be made as to what level the function will respect. Field level determines whether or not a function will be allowed to be used at the field level in the report designer, and expression level would allow for the function to be used during the creation of calculated columns. The Relationships tab will present the administrator with any predefined relationships between data sources within the database that Izenda picked up on with primary and foreign key relationships. Additionally, this area allows for data blending capabilities. For example, if an environment has multiple reporting databases, even of alternate types, This is where an administrator can make cross-database relationships between those data sources through the Add Relationship functionality. This gives convenient drop-down boxes that can be used to select what fields and which relationship will be built and saved into the tenant's data model configuration. The schema diagram can also be referenced in case a more visual representation of the data is desired. Izenda's administration UI offers unparalleled data model management access in order to perfectly mold the data model to fit any desired business rules or level of complexity. Be sure to visit Izenda's documentation in order to dive deeper into some of the concepts discussed in this video. Also, feel free to watch additional videos to get a more complete understanding of all the concepts in Izenda's self-service business intelligence platform.